Hello, welcome to session number 3 of the Regina Renters Guide sessions on Facebook, or not Facebook, on YouTube. So session 4, or the fourth challenge, pardon me, is being a good tenant. So being a good tenant involves some a checklist, which we'll talk about. But first of all, the first thing you need to know about being a good tenant is staying out of trouble. And the best way to stay out of trouble is to avoid addictions, or keep your addictions in check at least. And reasons being, addictions take all of your money, which is your rent money. Addictions destroy property. Addictions will bring the wrong people into your house, and addictions will get you into legal trouble. And if you want to keep a roof over your head, you want to avoid all of those things. If you must be active in your addiction, don't do it at your house if you can help it. And be careful who you bring home, especially if you're active in your addiction, be careful who you bring home. The next important thing, well, probably another very important thing, is to pay the rent and pay it on time. And we've talked about that. If you can't pay the rent, then make sure that you make a plan with your landlord so that you show that you have every intention of paying the rent. And of course, keep it legal. If you want to keep a roof over your head, you shouldn't be involved in illegal activities. And again, with addiction, sometimes we're involved with legal activities, so try to keep those addictions in check. Be careful who you bring into your home, and this includes your children's friends. I know that seems a little strict, but depending on how old your kids are, but be careful who you bring into your house, especially if you're thinking of something like bed bugs and lice. Kids can bring that kind of thing into the house, so just be a little bit careful. You don't have control over other people's behaviors, so especially if you're involved with addiction, so again, be careful who you bring into your house. Just trying to find the right page here. Oh, the good tenants checklist. So a good tenant always there's a checklist. Now I think this is probably backwards for you, but on page 34 of the Renter's Guide is a good tenant checklist. So again, pays full amount of rent on time, pays any utility bills, no damage to the property. So example, windows intact, carpeting is good, the doors and the walls are intact. Home is addiction free, preferably. Floors and surfaces are clutter free and clean, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Garbage is in bags or containers and is cleared away often. So you shouldn't have garbage all over the place. Your garbage should be in bags. And I often tell people, just throw garbage away right away. So for example, if you eat a bag of chips and you have an empty chip bag, instead of just leaving it beside you, pick it up, take it, put it in the garbage in a bag or in a garbage bin. So that keeps your place clutter free and clean. There should be no illegal activities on the premises, no pets without permission, and we might talk about that. No smoking in the house. Preferably if you smoke outside of the house. No junk in the yard. And again, your garbage should be cleared away often. You shouldn't have bags and bags and bags and piles of garbage at your back door, like either inside or outside of the house. Get them cleared away. Put your garbage in your bag, take your bag, put it in the bin outside and make sure that it gets picked up on collection day. Areas around the furnace, water heater, area around the furnace and the water heater is kept clear. So sometimes there's just a little room around the furnace and the heater. That's not a place to store stuff. So don't put anything there. And there should be no extra people living in the house. So Uncle George asks if he can come stay. Well, maybe a week is okay, but if all of a sudden he's staying for months on end, that's not a good thing. You can get in trouble with your landlord for that, so don't be doing that. Okay, so that is the good tenant checklist. So I have some questions for you. I want you to think about these questions. How often do you sweep the floor, mop the kitchen floor, do the dishes, do the laundry, wipe the kitchen counter down, pick up items off the floor, take the garbage out, put laundry away, vacuum, wipe the kitchen table, disinfect bathroom surfaces, clean the toilet? How often do you do those things? Do you keep a specific place for your belongings? Can you find an item when you need it? Do you throw garbage in the garbage immediately? For example, if you had a banana peel, or as I said, a chip bag. Do you keep clothing off of the floor? Do you scrape plates when you're finished with them? Do you put plates in the sink after eating? Do you put food away when you're done with it? Do you keep your floors clutter free? So are you able to walk from point A to point B without tripping over stuff? Do you clean up spills as soon as they happen? Do you move furniture to clean behind them? Do you dust? Do you take garbage to the dumpster when the bag is full? Do you keep kids seated to eat? That's a simple one, but effective one. Okay, so those are some things that you might want to think about, and I'm gonna talk about house care, how to keep your place clean. So again, keep your house as clutter-free as possible. That means the floors and surfaces are clear. There's nothing piling up or cluttering up the area, the space. You feel less stressed when you can find things and you can reach them without any trouble, and you can get them when you need them. So for example, say you need the dustpan or something, and if it's under a pile of stuff and you don't know where it is, it's very frustrating when you need it to use it. And that's when sometimes you find yourself buying things over and over again because you can't find them. So keep your floor and surfaces clear of garbage, food, dishes, clothing, and other items. It is unhealthy and unsafe to have a mess. It invites mice and other pests. It's a fire hazard, it's a safety hazard, and can be dangerous for children. Also, your belongings get wrecked if they're laying around. So for example, if you have clothes lying around and people are walking all over them, they could get ripped or damaged in some way, and then you're out of luck. Sweep and mop your floors regularly. Vacuum carpets often, more often if you have pets, if you're allowed to have pets. Be sure to move furniture and clean behind them, something that I don't know if you do. Disinfect surfaces in your kitchen, the counters, the table, the stovetop. This is easy if you keep your kitchen uncluttered. So you should be able to see your countertops so that you're able to wipe them down. Disinfect surfaces in your bathroom, keep them clean and dry. Take out garbage to the dumpster or the bin so that it doesn't pile up. Having garbage around is unhealthy and can invite pests like mice. Get into the habit of cleaning up after yourself. Again, if you're sitting watching TV and you have a snack, throw your garbage away, get up and throw your garbage away right away instead of leaving it sitting there and then it just sits there. And same with dishes. If you say you eat in front of the TV, take your bowl or your plate, take it to the sink, rinse it off. Sometimes we leave cleanups for another day and another week, and then it just becomes overwhelming. As I just said, scrape and rinse plates immediately. Don't leave dirty plates out, and always put food away. Again, that invites pests if you have too much food laying around. Here's one that you may not think of. Teach your kids to always sit down at the table to eat. They should not be allowed to wander around carrying food. Wash their hands and face after eating. Clean up and that's written wrong. Clean up spills and messes right away. Get the kids helping with chores. So for example, your kid shouldn't be walking around with a jar of peanut butter and their hand eating peanut butter. I've seen that in a house. You should have, if they're going to eat, like for example, if you have regular meals, sit down at a table. Teach them to sit at the table, that they can't take their plate and go and sit in front of the TV, or they can't wander from the TV to the kitchen, to the table, they can't wander around with their food. Even snacks, like if you gave them cheese and crackers or something, you don't want them walking around with that. Make them sit down in one spot. And teach them what I just said. If they they're done their cheese and crackers, they should throw that right in the garbage when they're done. If they're done their meal, they should take it to the sink, at least take it to the sink. If they can, rinse off a plate and put it in the pile where the dirty plates are. Vinegar actually cleans much like an all-purpose cleaner. All you need to do is mix a little bit of equal parts of water and vinegar in a spray bottle, and you have a solution that cleans most areas of your home. So that's a little bit of a cheaper solution, and sometimes it's better for your floors and some surfaces. It's a natural cleaning product as well as a disinfectant and a deodorizer. So if you're going to clean properly, you need some certain things. You need a broom, a mop, a vacuum if you have carpets, rags and cloths. And again, you don't need like the disposable cloths that come in a container. You can take some old clothes or some old towels and use those if you can, and then just wash them. You need a toilet brush. You'll probably need a plunger on hand just in case you have a plug, and you'll need a shovel to make sure that you do your walkway. It's important to do your walkways so that people don't fall and get hurt. Okay, really quick, we're gonna go over some pests. So if you're gonna be a good tenant, you don't want any pests in your house. So the biggest one is right now is bed bugs. The best way to avoid bed bugs is to prevent them from being in your house altogether. So be careful what secondhand items you bring in. Some of the places that you can get free items, make sure that you bring it home and put it right like in a plastic bag, and bring it and put it right in the wash if you can. If you get donated furniture, inspect it. Look for bed bug poops. So there'll be little dots of black in the creases, things like that. Vacuum your furniture before you take it into the house. And be mindful of what people come in the house and how they might pose a risk to bringing bed bugs. If you know that they have bed bugs at home, maybe tell them not to visit at your house. You know, figure out a way to visit without having them at your house. You know that you have bed bugs if you have bites, especially on your hands, face, arms, and legs. Bites are usually itchy, and they are usually, you know, about that big and have a little bump in the middle. Check your bed for spots that look like pepper. This is the waste, as I said. Check the seams and cracks of your mattress and bed frame and other dark hiding places. They are more active at night, but if there's enough of them, you might see them in the day. If you do have bed bugs, strip your bed, vacuum the mattress, both sides, and the box spring, the headboard, and the bed frame. Get rid of the bag or empty the canister right away. So when you vacuum, if you know you have bed bugs, vacuum a lot, but as soon as you are done vacuuming, empty the canister. Especially get into nooks and crannies. Wash your bedding in hot water and dry on high temperature for an hour. Vacuum your floor, all of your furniture, and all of your drapes. Vacuum often and every day. Move your bed away from the wall and make sure that nothing touches the floor, so your bedclothes shouldn't touch the floor. Seal your box spring either with a store-bought cover or use plastic and duct tape. I strongly suggest getting a store-bought cover. I've been through bed bugs, and the way that I got rid of them was you have to do everything that I just said. Get your mattress and box spring into a really good cover, and get some good traps. You might have to buy them. The best thing to do is to buy them because any kind of homemade traps aren't really going to work. The only homemade traps that I've heard that work are the kind that release carbon dioxide. So you can look that up on YouTube. There's a contraption you can make and then put, I think it takes yeast, and then it releases carbon dioxide and it attracts the bugs, and the bugs go into the trap. So either get some decent traps for your bed legs, and then you're the bait, and make sure you're not touching your bed isn't touching the wall, your bedclothes aren't touching the floor, or you can use a trap that attracts the bugs. So that is the best advice I can give you for bed bugs. But it is probably best to get professional help. If always avoid bringing in bed bugs as best as you can. But if you do get bed bugs, you can talk to your landlord. Usually they will take care of it the first time around. But if it goes on, you might be have to take the responsibility for that. So again, that's enough about bed bugs. Let's talk about mice. Mice and pests can carry infections and infectious diseases and contaminate food. So to prevent mice, again, prevention is always the best medicine. Keep all food in sealed containers. Never leave food, dirty plates, or pet food lying around. Keep your doors and windows closed, which is a challenge if you have doors and windows that don't close. That's something you need to talk to your landlord about. Avoid junk or garbage from cluttering your yard, especially close to your house. If you have to let a couple of bags of garbage pile up, put them at your back gate close to where your bins are so that they're not at your house. If you're cleaning up mouse poops, then wear a mask and gloves to clean up and dispose of the mouse droppings or dead mice if you find dead mice. Use bleach to clean the area. Do not sweep or vacuum droppings. Reason being, you're just dispersing it into the air. So do your best to just use an old cloth and wipe it up, or use disposable cloths to wipe it up. To get rid of mice, your landlord should provide you with mouse traps, or you can buy them yourself if you want to be responsible for that. Check the traps often and remove dead mice often. Find out how mice are getting in and seal up holes with spray foam or steel wool. And again, you can ask your landlord to help you with that, with the understanding that you are responsible for keeping the place clutter-free and clean, and keeping food put away, no dirty plates and things like that. If you do that, then your landlord is responsible for fixing any holes where mice might be getting in. You can use poison, but only if you don't have pets or children, I would suggest. And as always, keep your house clean and your yard clean. And really quick about mold. Really quick as the video keeps going on. So mold can cause a number of health issues. Prevent mold. Again, prevention is always the best. Keep good air circulation in your house. You should be able to open your windows and let air circulate. If you can't, then you need to talk to your landlord. Don't let moisture build up on surfaces such as walls and carpeting. So for example, if you use a humidifier, just be a little, like, don't have it too close to the wall or too close to your bed, and don't have it running all the time. You don't want moisture to build up on surfaces. If you have any leaks, be sure to get those fixed. And again, those are your landlord's responsibility. You can clean up mold yourself. Clean with 1 part bleach, 4 parts water. Use rubber gloves and wear a face mask. Remove any moldy material if possible. So if you can, like, so for example, if you had like an old rug, like an area rug, and you find that it's moldy, get rid of it if you can. Maybe drywall, if there's some moldy drywall, if you're able to get rid of it, get rid of it. Do what you can to keep the areas dry and well ventilated. So that's mold. I've had that problem as well, and again, it's you are able to clean up the mold yourself. It's not necessarily the landlord's responsibility. So another part of being a responsible, good tenant is to make sure you have landlord's permission for pets. If you do have permission for pets, be a good pet owner. Get your dog or cat spayed or neutered. Supervise them so they don't cause any damage. If your pet has an accident in the house, clean it up right away. If you have a dog, clean up their business from outside. Don't let poops take over your yard. If you have a cat, clean the litter box often. Having a pet is a serious commitment. Make sure that you have the finances to take good care of a pet. So you need to be able to buy them food, you need to be able to pay their vet bills. If you find that you're not sure if you have the finances to do it, then don't do it. Consider waiting until you have a more stable situation. I know it's very tempting to get a cat, it's very tempting to get a dog, but landlords do not allow pets for a good reason. They cause property damage, odors, and noise. You may be asked to pay a fee if you are allowed to have a pet. If you're not allowed to have a pet, don't have a pet. Be a good tenant and follow the rules. If you are allowed to have a pet, then be a good pet owner. If you do love pets and you're not allowed to have a pet, there are some things you can do. You can volunteer with an animal rescue organization like the Humane Society. We also have Bright Eyes Dog Rescue, and I think it's called Regina Cat Rescue. I think there's even other ones than that. So volunteer. You can't be a foster parent if you're not allowed to have pets at your house, but you can do other things, like maybe go out and feed cats. Or actually one time I was actually a cat brusher. I went to the Humane Society, and just to socialize the cats, you got to just sit and brush the cats. So, which is not always easy, but you might be able to do that. Anyways, volunteer. I have some more questions for you before I go on to the next piece. Do you smoke in the house? Have you thought about quitting smoking? When you are cooking, do you always cook on high? How do you always make sure that the burners are off? I always, before I plate my food, I always turn off my burners. Have you ever had a fire in your kitchen, and what caused it? So this is the next piece here is on fire safety tips. So make sure you always have working smoke detectors on each floor. Do not take out the batteries or disarm them in any way. If you're having problems with them, talk to your landlord. Never smoke in bed or when you are feeling sleepy. Better yet, never smoke in the house. And of course your landlord would like it if you don't smoke in the house, because it can cause discoloration of your walls and things like that. If you do smoke in the house, which you shouldn't, but if you do, always make sure your cigarette is out before throwing it away or leaving it in an ashtray. Make it a habit to double check before going to bed or leaving the house. So check your ashtray, or check your cigarette butts that they're out before you go to bed or leave the house. Be careful while cooking. Do not cook everything on high. Not everything needs to be cooked on high. Check the directions, and sometimes we're just in a hurry and we want to cook things fast, but check the directions and see what temperature you should be cooking it on. Never leave cooking unattended. So if you're going to walk away to answer the door, check on the kids, or go to the bathroom, or whatever you need to do, turn the burner down or turn it off. Don't leave say you had to cook it on medium, don't leave your burner on medium and then go answer the door. It could be something that's going to take a lot of time, and then all of a sudden you've got something burning on the stove. As I said, what I do before putting my food on plates, that I turn off the burners to make sure, and the oven to make sure that they're off. Keep stove clear of tea towels, cloths, and other clutter. And again, you don't want clutter around on your stove top or on your counter around your stove top. And it's also a good idea, like, to make sure that your oven and burners are off if you've been cooking recently before you go to bed or leave the house. Just double check that your burners are off. But again, if you have it in your head to do it as you're plating your food, then you should be good. If something does start on fire on your stove, cover it with a lid and turn the burner off. If a fire starts in the oven, close the oven door and turn off the heat. If the flames don't go out, then you need to call the fire department. When I talk to the fire department, they tell me that the biggest cause of fires is cooking. So keep that in mind. I did mention this already, but keep the area clear around your furnace, water heater, and heaters. Keep that area clear. Do not keep anything flammable nearby. No boxes, no clothing, no newspapers or chemicals. Always check that the heaters are off before leaving the house or going to bed. Keep lighters and matches away from children, and never leave a lit candle unattended. I don't use candles. You can buy electric candles. That's what I use now. Don't overload electronic outlets or extension cords. Never run extension cords under rugs. If an appliance smokes or has an unusual smell, unplug it immediately and tell your landlord. Don't tamper with fuse boxes. So those are some tips for fire safety. So being a good tenant means being fire safe. So keep those things in mind. So today we learned that you do have some control over the health and safety of your home. Tenants do have some rules to follow, as well as the landlord, but they are laid out in the Residential Tenancy Act, which you can find online. You need a reference from this landlord to, if you ever want to move, which, you know, we move, people move. So you're going to want to keep things on a positive note. So be a good tenant. As I mentioned, there's a good tenants list in the guide, and I'll put a link to the guide in the comments. So also at the end of your tenancy, if you plan to move out, give a month's notice and give written notice, so that because that's what your rental agreement would probably say. And again, keep it on a positive note. You want your landlord as a reference. So that is what I have for you. So if you get a chance, take a look at the Regina Renter's Guide online. If you can print it out, that's even better. And if you happen to know of a group that would be willing to print print copies of the guide to hand out to either their groups or other groups, please let me know. Put it in the comments. You can email me at reginapeople@gmail.com, or give me a call at 533-5117 and let me know, so that we can get some copies and get them out to the hands of people that need it. So thank you for your attention, and there's one more session that we will do, and yeah, be a good tenant.